Okay, we're going to talk about arrays today, and arrays is basically the starting point to multiplication in the third grade. So the learning objective is 3.4D, and that's determine the total number of objects when equal-sized groups of objects are combined or arranged in arrays up to 10 by 10. And what we're going to be able to do is identify the rows and columns in an array, know the parts of a multiplication equation, and use arrays appropriately in problem solving. So let's go over here and we're going to look. This is basically just a continuation of stuff that we learned last year. Last year the TEK was 2.6a, and that's model, create, and describe contextual multiplication situations in which equivalent sets of concrete objects are joined. So basically, we got equal size groups and we're putting together to figure out how many there are. We'll go over here and look at some of our vocabulary that we need on this lesson. And the first one is array. What is an array? It's a set of objects arranged in rows and columns. Equation, a mathematical statement composed of equivalent expressions separated by an equal sign. Factor, a number multiplied by another number to find a product. And product, the total when two or more factors are multiplied together. So the product is basically the answer to the multiplication problem. The factors are the two numbers that we put together to make a multiplication problem.
Visit Numberrock.com for ad-free videos, lesson materials, and more.
I pick up my pencil and I compose an array with 3 columns and 4 rows. 4 groups of 3 help me to see better. There are 12 circles all together. This array has 5 rows and 3 columns. Grouping can help us solve these problems. 5 plus 5 plus 5 equals 15. Now we're mastering this routine. We can count objects in many ways.
We can count in many ways.
By counting groups found in arrays.
Groups are found in arrays.
Rows go across, columns go up and down.
Rows across, columns up and down.
Equal groups help us tally how many we found.
How many we found.
On my tablet, I compose an array with 4 columns and 5 rows. 5 groups of 4 are on the display. There are 20 clownfish in the array. This array has 3 columns and 2 rows. It's easy for us to see how this one goes. Because we know 3 plus 3 equals 6. Adding groups is such a cool metric. We can count objects in many ways.
We can count in many
By
ways.
counting groups found in arrays.
Groups are found in arrays.
Rows go across, columns go up and down.
Rows across, columns up and
Equal
down.
groups help us tally how many we found.
An array shows addition, done in repetition. And this is the foundation for multiplication. For example, 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 9. What we've done is we have added 3 separate times. So we could say the array is 3 times 3. To multiply, just add and repeat.
We can count objects in many ways.
We can count in many
By
ways.
counting groups found in arrays.
Groups are found in arrays.
Rows go across, columns go up and down.
Rows across, columns up and
Equal
down.
groups help us tally how many we found.
How many we found.
Visit Numberrock.com for ad-free videos, lesson materials, and more.
So arrays, this is our anchor chart for arrays. And you can see I've got the rows go over here on the right. So on this one I have 3 rows. and basically those end up being the groups. So in each row there are 6. So there are 6 in each group. So that's what the GET stands for. The G stands for groups, the E stands for how many are in each group, and the T stands for total, how many total there are. If you look there, if you count all those up, there are 18 in the array. So also we talked about with the vocabulary, the 2 numbers that we put together in our multiplication problem are the factors. So a factor, and the answer to the multiplication problem is the product. Over here is a non-array, a non-example of an array. So we put a line through it, X out of that. That's not an array. And it's not an array because each group is not equal. I've got a group of 5, a group of 5, a group of 5, and then a group of 3. So those are not equal rows. That would represent the same thing as 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 3 equals 18. Even though it's still 18, that's not an array because each row is not equal. Or you could have did this part right here would make an array. The array for that part right there would be 3 times 5, and then you add 3 to it right there. So and that still equals 18. But this is not an array because it's not 4 equal groups. Let's go ahead, and we've got some problems down here we're going to look at. These are real-world problems. This first one is really more of a, we're talking about arrays. This is really an area model, which is basically the same thing as an array, except on the area model it covers the whole area of it, but still has all the same rules. So let's go ahead. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 rows. I get good at manipulating my mouse here. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in each row. What I was going to do? Let me do so. There's 4 rows with 6 in each row. So that's how we represent that problem right there. Scoot over, look at the next problem. Talking about eggs. Scoot over. And that's a common, that's an 18 pack of eggs, isn't it? So the first thing I do is I go ahead and figure out there's 1, 2, 3 rows. So I put a 3 right here in the rows. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in each row. I was going to do blue. I'm forgetting. So there's 6 in each row. So that's my each. How many are in each row is right here. And my rows I'm going to do in red. Red for rows. So the array that multiplication, the egg carton represents is 3 times 6. 3 groups of 6. Scoot over a little bit because I have my face there. So we got a stack of cans there, and we have 3 rows, 1, 2, 3 rows, so 3 rows. So my first factor would be 3, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 in each row, 4 equal sized groups there, so that's 3 times 4. Okay, we'll go down here. Pennies. I figure out how many pennies that is. So first thing I'm going to do is count the rows. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rows. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in each row. So I got my blue marker here. That's going to be, scoot it up a little bit. That's 9 rows or 9 groups and there are 8 in each group. So the problem to solve that would be 9 times 8, 9 groups of 8. Scoot over here. We've got a sticker chart. Should be familiar with sticker charts. It's something that we use in elementary school. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 rows or 5 groups. So 5 will be my first factor. And then there are 1, 2, 3, 4 in each row. Four in each row, so that's 5 times 4. Scoot over here. And the last one we're looking at is crayons. Boxes of crayons. So there are 2 rows there, 2 groups. So my first factor is going to be a 2, my multiplication problem. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 in each row. So the multiplication problem to solve that array would be 2 times 8. Okay, on this activity we have some foam tiles. We have 8 of them, and we're talking about arrays right now, so we're going to try to figure out how many different ways I can put 8 tiles into an array. An array means there's an equal amount in each row. So I'm going to start with the first one, which is the easiest one, would be just make one row. I can make one row of anything. It doesn't matter. I can make one row of 5, one row of 6, one row of 100. And I know it'll work out because even the prime numbers, we'll start talking about prime numbers when you get to 5th grade and stuff, then you can make anything, you can multiply by 1. So I got one row of 8 right there. I got one row that's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that multiplication fact associated with that would be one group, or 1 times 8. That equals 8. So the next one we're going to do, we'll go ahead and we'll make 2 rows. I know 8's an even number, so I'm pretty sure I can make 2 rows of 8. Not 2 rows of 8, 2 rows of 4, I mean. So I can take 8 and make it into 2 rows, and the multiplication factor for that would be 2 times 4, and that equals 8. Go ahead and try, we'll try 3. Can we do 3? So I got 3 rows. Okay, and I cannot take and make 3 rows array where they have a total of 8. That will not work. So I'll go ahead and try 4 rows. And it looks like 4 rows does work. I got 4 rows, 2 in each row, so I'm going to do that right here. So that's 4 groups of 2, and that equals 8. Try another one here. We can try 5 rows, see what we can do with 5 rows. So that's 5. So it's going to end up with 3 in this row. So that's, I cannot make in a row with 5 rows and have 8 total. So we'll go ahead and try 6 rows. That won't work. 7 rows. But I can do 8 rows with 1 in each row. And that would be, the multiplication factor associated with that would be 8 times 1 equals 8. So there's 4 different ways we can do it. We can do 1 row of 8. I can do 2 rows of 4. I can do 4 rows of 2. Or I can do 8 rows of 1. So there's 4 different ways I can go ahead and use these tiles to make Okay, we're going to go and start working on our guided practice right now. And we're going to be using this table right here. We're just talking about Mr. Bloom's garden. We have a column right here with the vegetables and a column to talk about the arrays right there. And the beans, he has 4 rows of 6. Carrots, he has 2 rows of 8. Corn, 5 rows of 9. And beets, 4 rows of 7. So we'll go ahead and look at this question over here. It says, Mr. Bloom grows vegetables in the garden. Draw an array and write a multiplication sentence to show how many corn plants Mr. Bloom has in his garden. Okay, we're going to go ahead and look at this real quick. So it says to draw an array, so we have to draw an array and write a multiplication sentence to solve this. And we're talking about the corn plants. So we're talking about this one right here, the corn plants. And it says 5 rows of 9. So I'll just scoot this up a little bit here so we can get our rows in here. So corn, my stalks are green, so I'm going to use green to mark my corn plants. And it says 5 rows of 9, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And finish up the array. You didn't want to see me sit there and click for 5 minutes. And as I said in the problem, there's 5 rows with 9 in each row. And we can go through and count each one of these. Okay, but since we're 3rd graders, we're going to try to use some of our skip counting skills that we have. And I can count by 9 5 times, or I can count by 5 9 times. And I think it's going to be a little bit easier to count by 5s because you have a little bit more practice counting by 5s. So we're going to do that. So that'd be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So 5 times 9 is 45. So do that in so 5 times 9 equals 45. We'll get better at drawing like this. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the next problem. Okay, it's talking about Mr. Bloom have planted his carrots in equal rows of, Could Mr. Bloom have planted his carrots in equal rows of 4? If so, how many rows would he have planted? So there's 2 questions right there. We're going to answer both the questions. First question is, can he plant them with 4 in a row and make equal rows? And if so, how many rows would there be? So there's 2 questions right there. So we're going to have to answer 2 different things here. So go ahead and do that on your own, and we'll come back and look at it afterwards. Okay, we'll go ahead and look at it. So it's carrot plants he's talking about. And on his carrot plants, he has 2 rows of 8. So 2 rows of 8. There's 2 ways we can do it. We could do count by, or add 8 plus 8 together, or we could skip count by 2s 8 times. Let's skip count by 2s. We're pretty good at that. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So 2 times 8 would be 16. So there's 16 carrots there. I'm going to write 16 right here. And then we'll go ahead and check and see if we can go ahead and put 4 in each row and come up with 16 equal rows. 16 equal rows with 4 in each row. So 1, 2, 3, 4 in that row. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So it does look like we can put equal rows of 4. So we're going to have, how many rows do we have? Let's take a look at it. So that's 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows, and 4 rows. So that means there are, you can, and if you did, there would be 4 rows. Getting better. 4 rows. Okay, let's go ahead and go down and look at our last guided practice problem. Okay, this one is talking about strawberry plants. And it didn't say anything about strawberry plants in our table, so we're going to go ahead. We don't need the table, but it does say right here that we have Mr. Bloom has 12 strawberry plants. How many different arrays could Mr. Bloom make using all of his strawberry plants? So we're going to go ahead and practice that, or give it a try. We're going to do our arrays. So strawberry plants, we'll make them red. We'll make them big red dots will be our strawberry plants. And since I know I can always make do 1 row with 12 in it, we know that'll work. We'll go ahead and do that first. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So that's one way of doing it. Let's go ahead, make the next set green, just so we don't get confused. And I know 12 is an even number, so I'm pretty sure I could go ahead and make 2 rows, since 12 is an even number. We'll give that a shot. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so go back to red. That worked out. We did 2 rows. We'll go ahead and try 3 rows. So we'll do 3 rows. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And that worked out good. We had 3 rows. There's 4 in each row. So since I had 4 in each row, I'm pretty sure I should be able to do 4 rows. And that would be 3 in each row. Let's give it a try here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's another way of doing it. We could do 4 rows. 5 rows. Okay, I don't think I'm going to try 5 rows because I know if I have 2 in each row, that's 10. And I don't think I wouldn't have another 5 to do, so that wouldn't work. But I do think I could do 6 rows because right here I had 2 rows with 6 in each. So we'll go ahead and try 6 rows. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that worked out good. I had 6 rows with 2 in each. And 7 rows. Okay, I don't think 7 rows will work because if I had 7 rows and 2 in each row, that'd be 14 altogether. So that's not going to work. So 8. I don't believe 8 will work either because 8 rows, if I had 2 in each row, that'd be 16. And 9, had 9 in each row, that would be, had 9 rows, had 2 in each row, that's 18. That still gets me over my number. 12, or 10 in each row, that's 20, that's too many. 11 would be 22. So it looks like the only other way to do it is probably do 12 rows with 1 in each row. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that's the last way I can do it. So we'll go ahead and figure out how many arrays we made. That's 1, the first one, 1 times 12. The next time we did was 2 times 12. Then we did, 2 times 6 equals 12. And then we got 3 times 4 equals 12. And we have 4 times 3 equals 12. And 6 times 2 equals 12. And then 12 groups of 1 equals 12. So it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different ways we can make arrays. So 6 different arrays is what we should have chosen on that one. And we'll go ahead, since that's the last problem, go ahead and look down here. Now it's time to go ahead and do our independent practice. Please complete your Schoology assessment or assignment. You will find it at the link below this video. And as always, if you have any questions, I need you to go ahead and email your teacher or send them a message in Schoology if something's not working, if something in the grade book doesn't look right. Let your teacher know as soon as possible, and that way we can get it fixed. We're starting off a new 6 weeks here, and we want to get it off to a good start, so do your best.